Agree with. I totally agree with you on that. Apologize for. You should apologize for what you said. Apply for. I'm thinking about applying for that job. Ask for. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Believe in. I still believe in you. Belong to. Who does this bag belong to? Care about. She doesn't seem to care about anyone else. Care for. I don't really care for spicy food. Come across. I came across an interesting article today. Come up with. How did you come up with that idea? Complain about. He never stops complaining about work. Concentrate on. I can't concentrate on anything today. Deal with. I'm not ready to deal with this right now. Decide on. Have you decided on a date yet? Depend on. It depends on how she feels. Disagree with. I disagree with him on that point. Dream about. I keep dreaming about the same thing. End up with. We ended up with more problems than before. Feel like. I don't feel like going out tonight. Focus on. Try to focus on what matters. Forget about. I can't just forget about what happened. Give up on. Don't give up on yourself. Go through. She's going through a really tough time. Grow up in. He grew up in a small town. Hear about. Have you heard about what happened? Hear from. I haven't heard from her in weeks. Hope for. I'm just hoping for the best. Insist on. She insisted on paying for everything. Interfere with. Stop interfering with my decisions. Keep up with. It's hard to keep up with everything. Know about. Do you know anything about this? Laugh at. Everyone laughed at what he said. Listen to. You never listen to what I say. Look after. Can you look after my bag for a second? Look forward to. I'm really looking forward to seeing you. Look into. I'll look into it and get back to you. Look up to. She's always looked up to her older sister. Make up for. I want to make up for what I did. Object to. A lot of people object to that idea. Participate in. I'd like to participate in the discussion. Pay for. Who's going to pay for all of this? Plan on. Are you planning on coming to the party? Point at. It's rude to point at people. Prepare for. I wasn't prepared for that at all. Put up with. I can't put up with this anymore. React to. I didn't know how to react to the news. Recover from. She's still recovering from the breakup. Refer to. What exactly are you referring to? Rely on. I've been relying on her too much. Remind of. This song reminds me of my childhood. Replace with. We need to replace this with something better. Respond to. He never responds to my messages. Result in. That decision resulted in a lot of problems. Run into. I ran into my ex at the supermarket. Search for. I've been searching for a better option. Settle for. I don't want to settle for something average. Speak to. Have you spoken to her about this? Speak up for. Someone needs to speak up for the people affected. Stand for. I won't stand for that kind of behavior. Stand up for. He always stands up for what he believes in. Stare at. Why is he staring at me like that? Stick to. Let's stick to the original plan. Struggle with. I've been struggling with this for a while. Succeed in. She finally succeeded in getting the promotion. Take care of. Don't worry, I'll take care of it. Take part in. I didn't get a chance to take part in the meeting. Talk about. We need to talk about what happened. Talk to. Have you tried talking to her directly? Think about. I need some time to think about it. Think of. I can't think of a better solution right now. Wait for. I'm tired of waiting for an answer. Warn about. Nobody warned me about this. Worry about. Stop worrying about things you can't control. Work on. I've been working on this for weeks. Work out. Things will work out in the end. Give in to. I finally gave in to the pressure. Cut down on. I've been trying to cut down on sugar. Catch up with. Let's catch up with each other soon. Check in on. She always checks in on me when I'm down. Come down with. I think I'm coming down with a cold. Drop out of. He dropped out of school at 17. Fall behind on. I've fallen behind on my work lately. Get along with. I don't really get along with her. Get over. I'm still not over what happened. Get rid of. I need to get rid of some old habits. Get used to. I'm still getting used to living alone. Give back to. He wants to give back to his community. Hold on to. Hold on to the things that matter. Look back on. When I look back on it, I regret nothing. Miss out on. I don't want to miss out on this opportunity. Move on from. It's time to move on from the past. Run out of. We ran out of time before we could finish. Show up for. She always shows up for the people she loves. Sign up for. I signed up for an English class last week. Slow down on. You really need to slow down on the drinking. Stand out from. She really stands out from everyone else. Take advantage of. Don't let anyone take advantage of you. Take over from. He took over from her when she left. Turn away from. Don't turn away from people who need help. Watch out for. You need to watch out for people like that. Account for. Can you account for where you were that night? Adapt to. It took me a while to adapt to the new environment. Add to. This only adds to my stress. Adjust to. I'm still adjusting to the new schedule. Aim at. What exactly are you aiming at with this plan? Allow for. We need to allow for some extra time. Appeal to. That kind of humor doesn't really appeal to me. Apply to. This rule applies to everyone. Approve of. My parents don't approve of my decision. Argue with. I'm too tired to argue with you right now. Arrive at. We arrived at a conclusion after a long discussion. Associate with. I don't want to be associated with that group. Benefit from. Everyone will benefit from this change. Boast about. He never stops boasting about his achievements. Borrow from. Can I borrow some money from you? Break away from. She finally broke away from that toxic relationship. Break into. Someone broke into my car last night. Bring up. I didn't want to bring up the subject again. Call on. The teacher called on me when I wasn't ready. Carry on with. Let's carry on with what we were doing. Charge with. He was charged with fraud. Choose between. It's hard to choose between the two options. Collaborate with. I'd love to collaborate with her on this project. Come from. Where exactly do you come from? Comment on. I'd rather not comment on that right now. Commit to. Are you ready to commit to this decision? Communicate with. It's getting harder to communicate with her. Compare with. You can't really compare this with that. Compete with. I don't want to compete with anyone. Conform to. He never really conformed to social expectations. Connect with. I find it hard to connect with new people. Consent to. She never consented to any of this. Contribute to. Everyone contributed to the final result. Cope with. How are you coping with everything? Count on. I'm counting on you to be there. Crash into. The car crashed into the barrier. Dedicate to. She dedicated her life to helping others. Devote to. He's devoted most of his time to this project. Differ from. This situation differs from what I expected. Disapprove of. I disapprove of the way he handled it. Discourage from. Nobody discouraged me from trying. Escape from. She just wanted to escape from everything. Excuse for. There's no excuse for that kind of behavior. Expand on. Could you expand on what you just said? Experiment with. I've been experimenting with a new routine. Explain to. Can you explain this to me one more time? Fall for. I can't believe I fell for that. Familiarize with. You need to familiarize yourself with the rules. Fit in with. I never really fit in with that group. Follow up on. I need to follow up on that email. Get away from. I just need to get away from all of this. Get back to. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Get through to. I can't seem to get through to her. Give away. He gave away everything he had. Go along with. I just went along with what everyone else said. Go back on. I can't believe he went back on his word. Go over. Let's go over the details one more time. Graduate from. She graduated from university last year. Grow apart from. We slowly grew apart from each other. Hand over to. She handed the project over to someone else. Hang on to. I've been hanging on to this for too long. Happen to. What happened to the plan we made? Head toward. Things seem to be heading toward a conflict. Hide from. You can't hide from your problems forever. Identify with. I really identify with what you're going through. Impose on. I don't want to impose on you. Improve on. I'm always trying to improve on my weaknesses. Include in. Make sure everyone is included in the discussion. Invest in. I want to invest more in my personal growth. Involve in. I don't want to be involved in this anymore. Judge by. Don't judge people by their appearance. Keep from. I couldn't keep myself from laughing. Lead to. One bad decision can lead to a lot of problems. Learn from. The most important thing is to learn from your mistakes. Let go of. It's time to let go of the past. Live up to. He never lived up to everyone's expectations. Long for. I've been longing for some peace and quiet. Look down on. I hate it when people look down on others. Make fun of. Stop making fun of things you don't understand. Name after. She was named after her grandmother. Occur to. It never occurred to me that she was lying. Opt for. I decided to opt for the safer option. Pass on. I think I'll pass on that opportunity. Persist in. He persisted in doing things his own way. Pick on. Why does he always pick on the same person? Prevent from. Nothing is going to prevent me from trying. Pride in. She takes a lot of pride in her work. Prohibit from. We were prohibited from taking photos inside. Protect from. I just want to protect you from getting hurt. Provide with. They provided us with everything we needed. Pull out of. She decided to pull out of the project. Push for. He's been pushing for a change for a long time. Reflect on. I need some time to reflect on everything. Refrain from. Please refrain from using your phone during the meeting. Resign from. She resigned from her position without warning. Result from. This problem resulted from a lack of communication. Run away from. You can't keep running away from the truth. Substitute for. Nothing can substitute for real experience. Suffer from. He's been suffering from anxiety for years. Translate into. Hard work doesn't always translate into success. Abide by. You have to abide by the rules whether you like them or not. Abstain from. He decided to abstain from alcohol completely. Accuse of. She accused him of lying to her face. Acquaint with. Let me acquaint you with how things work around here. Act on. I decided to act on my instincts. Adhere to. It's important to adhere to the original agreement. Admit to. He finally admitted to making a mistake. Advise against. I would strongly advise against doing that. Agree on. We need to agree on a time that works for everyone. Align with. His values don't really align with mine. Allocate to. More resources need to be allocated to this area. Amount to. All of that effort didn't amount to anything. Base on. That assumption isn't based on any real evidence. Blend in with. She just wanted to blend in with everyone else. Bounce back from. It took her a long time to bounce back from that. Brush up on. I need to brush up on my presentation skills. Build on. Let's build on what we already have. Bump into. I bumped into an old friend on the way here. Call for. This situation calls for a completely different approach. Care of. Can you take care of this while I'm away? Caution against. Everyone cautioned against making a decision too quickly. Center on. The whole argument centered on one misunderstanding. Clear up. I just want to clear up any misunderstanding between us. Close in on. The deadline is closing in on us. Collaborate on. We should collaborate on this instead of competing. Come clean about. He finally came clean about what really happened. Comment about. I'd rather not comment about something I don't fully understand. Compensate for. Nothing can compensate for the time we lost. Compliment on. She complimented me on my presentation. Confide in. I don't have anyone I can really confide in. Conform with. His behavior doesn't conform with what he preaches. Confront with. She confronted him with the truth. Confuse with. People always confuse me with my sister. Congratulate on. I want to congratulate you on your achievement. Consist of. The team consists of people from very different backgrounds. Consult with. You should consult with a professional before deciding. Contrast with. His actions contrast sharply with his words. Cover for. Can you cover for me while I'm out? Cut off from. I felt completely cut off from everything. Dawn on. It slowly dawned on me that something was wrong. Decide against. I decided against bringing it up again. Deduce from. What can we deduce from this information? Demand from. I'm not sure what she demands from me anymore. Depart from. His approach departs significantly from the norm. Derive from. A lot of English words derive from Latin. Detach from. I've been trying to detach from social media. Deter from. Don't let fear deter you from trying new things. Deviate from. He never deviates from his routine. Dig into. Let's dig into the real cause of the problem. Divert from. Stop trying to divert attention from the real issue. Draw from. She draws a lot of strength from her family. Draw on. You can draw on your past experience here. Drop in on. He dropped in on us without any warning. Dwell on. There's no point dwelling on things you can't change. Elaborate on. Could you elaborate on what you mean by that? Embark on. She's about to embark on a completely new chapter. Emerge from. Something good can emerge from even the worst situations. Empathize with. I really empathize with what you're going through. Engage in. I don't want to engage in pointless arguments. Engage with. It's hard to engage with someone who won't listen. Enroll in. I'm thinking about enrolling in an online course. Excuse from. She was excused from the meeting due to illness. Exempt from. Not everyone is exempt from making mistakes. Exhaust from. I was completely exhausted from all the pressure. Expect from. I don't know what to expect from this anymore. Experiment on. You shouldn't experiment on people without their consent. Expose to. Traveling exposes you to completely different ways of thinking. Face up to. It's time to face up to the reality of the situation. Factor in. We need to factor in the cost before making a decision. Fall back on. It's good to have something to fall back on. Fall out with. I fell out with her over something really small. Feel up to. I don't feel up to going out tonight. Figure out. I'm still trying to figure out what went wrong. Fill in for. Can you fill in for me tomorrow morning? Find out about. How did you find out about this? Fix on. We haven't fixed on a final plan yet. Follow through on. She never follows through on what she promises. Frown on. That kind of behavior is frowned on here. Gain from. What do you hope to gain from this? Get ahead of. Try not to get too far ahead of yourself. Get around to. I'll get around to it eventually. Get down to. Let's get down to business. Get in the way of. Don't let your ego get in the way of progress. Get out of. I want to get out of this situation as soon as possible. Give rise to. That comment gave rise to a lot of unnecessary conflict. Go without. I've gone without sleep for 2 days now. Guard against. You need to guard against making assumptions. Hand in. Make sure you hand in the report by Friday. Hang back from. He tends to hang back from group situations. Have it out with. I think it's time to have it out with her. Hold back from. I had to hold myself back from saying something. Hold out for. She's holding out for a better offer. Identify as. He identifies as someone who values honesty above everything. Impact on. This is going to impact on a lot of people. Impress on. I want to impress on you how serious this is. Indulge in. I don't usually indulge in things like that. Inform of. Please inform me if any changes right away. Instill in. She instilled a strong sense of discipline in her kids. Interfere in. Stop interfering in things that don't concern you. Jump to. Don't jump to conclusions before you know the full story. Keep away from. Keep away from people who drain your energy. Keep back from. Something kept me back from saying what I really felt. Keep out of. Just try to keep out of trouble for once. Knock out of. That news completely knocked me out of my comfort zone. Land on. We finally landed on a solution that works for everyone. Lash out at. She lashed out at me for no apparent reason. Laugh off. He just laughed it off like nothing happened. Lay off. I wish people would just lay off and give me some space. Lean on. It's okay to lean on the people you trust. Lean toward. I'm leaning toward taking the safer option. Leave out. I felt completely left out of the conversation. Limit 2. Try to limit yourself to 1 cup of coffee a day. Linger on. I don't want to linger on the negative parts. Live off. He's been living off his savings for months now. Live on. Some memories just live on no matter how hard you try to forget. Look out for. Always look out for the people around you. Make allowances for. You need to make allowances for the fact that she's new. Make do with. We'll just have to make do with what we have. Make out of. What do you make out of what she said? Make room for. We need to make room for different perspectives. Make use of. Make the most use of every opportunity you get. Meddle in. Stop meddling in other people's business. Mistake 4. I mistook her for someone I used to know. Mix up with. I always mix him up with his brother. Move away from. I've been trying to move away from old habits. Narrow down to. We've narrowed it down to 2 final candidates. Nod at. She just nodded at me without saying a word. Object to. I strongly object to the way this was handled. Open up about. It took her a long time to open up about her feelings. Open up to. I find it really hard to open up to new people. Opt out of. I decided to opt out of the whole thing. Owe to. I owe a lot of who I am to my parents. Own up to. He needs to own up to what he did. Part with. I'm not ready to part with those memories yet. Pass off as. He tried to pass it off as a joke. Pay attention to. You really need to pay more attention to the details. Phase out. They're slowly phasing out the old system. Pick up on. She picks up on things that most people miss. Pile up. Everything has been piling up and I can't handle it anymore. Pin down. I can't quite pin down what's bothering me. Plan for. You need to plan for things not going as expected. Play down. Stop playing down how serious this situation is. Point out. I just want to point out a few things before we move on. Pray for. I'm just hoping and praying for the best outcome. Press for. She kept pressing for a straight answer. Pry into. I don't like people prying into my personal life. Pull away from. I could feel her pulling away from me lately. Pull through. I know you'll pull through no matter what. Push through. Sometimes you just have to push through the difficult moments. Put across. I'm having trouble putting my point across clearly. Put aside. Let's put our differences aside for now. Put down to. I put her bad mood down to stress. Put off. Stop putting off the things you know you need to do. Put out. I don't want to put you out in any way. Reach out to. Don't hesitate to reach out to me if you need anything. Read into. Don't read too much into what she said. Reason with. There's no reasoning with someone who won't listen. Rebound from. It takes time to rebound from a major disappointment. Reconcile with. Have you reconciled with her yet? Reduce to. The argument reduced everything to a simple misunderstanding. Reflect in. Her hard work is clearly reflected in the results. Resort to. I don't want to resort to drastic measures. Rule out. We can't rule out the possibility that something went wrong. Rush into. Don't rush into a decision you might regret. Say to. What exactly did she say to make you feel that way? See through. I can see right through what you're trying to do. Seek out. Sometimes you have to actively seek out the right people. Send for. She sent for help as soon as she realized what happened. Separate from. It's hard to separate your emotions from the facts. Set apart from. What sets her apart from everyone else is her honesty. Set aside. We need to set aside some time to talk properly. Set back. This has set us back by at least 2 weeks. Set out to. What exactly did you set out to achieve? Settle into. It took me a while to settle into the new routine. Shift from. We need to shift the focus from the problem to the solution. Shy away from. Don't shy away from difficult conversations. Single out. I hate being singled out in front of everyone. Sit with. Sometimes you just need to sit with your feelings for a while. Slip away from. I feel like things are slowly slipping away from me. Slip into. It's easy to slip into bad habits without realizing it. Sort out. We need to sort this out before it gets any worse. Speak out against. More people need to speak out against this. Speculate about. I'd rather not speculate about things I don't know. Spring from. A lot of his confidence springs from his upbringing. Stand by. I'll stand by you no matter what happens. Start over from. Sometimes you just have to start over from scratch. Stay away from. It's better to stay away from that kind of situation. Stem from. Most of the conflict stems from a lack of trust. Step away from. I think I need to step away from this for a bit. Step back from. Try to step back from the situation and look at it objectively. Step up to. It's time for someone to step up to the challenge. Stray from. Don't stray too far from the original plan. Stumble upon. I stumbled upon some information that changed everything. Submit to. I refuse to submit to pressure from anyone. Swing between. She keeps swinging between two completely different decisions. Sympathize with. I really sympathize with what you're going through. Tap into. She knows how to tap into people's emotions. Tear away from. I couldn't tear myself away from the conversation. Think back on. When I think back on it, I would have done things differently. Tie to. His whole identity seems to be tied to his work. Tone down. You might want to tone down your reaction a little. Touch on. I just want to touch on a few important points. Track down. It took me forever to track down the right information. Trade off. Everything in life involves trading off one thing for another. Transition from. It's not easy to transition from one phase of life to another. Triumph over. She finally triumphed over everything that was holding her back. Trust in. I've always trusted in her ability to figure things out. Tune out. I tend to tune out when people talk over me. Turn against. I never expected her to turn against me like that. Turn around. Things will turn around if you just give it some time. Turn down. I can't believe he turned down such a good opportunity. Turn into. I don't want this to turn into a bigger problem. Turn to. I never know who to turn to when things get hard. Urge against. Everyone urged against making a decision under pressure. Venture into. She decided to venture into a completely new field. Verge on. What he said verges on being completely unacceptable. Vote against. A lot of people voted against the proposed change. Vote for. I'd vote for anyone who actually listens to people. Wade through. I've been wading through a mountain of work this week. Wander from. Try not to wander too far from the main point. Warn against. I warned against rushing into anything too quickly. Watch over. She's always watching over the people she cares about. Weigh against. You need to weigh the risks against the potential benefits. Weigh on. This has been weighing on me for a really long time. Wind down from. I need something to help me wind down from a stressful day. Withdraw from. He slowly withdrew from everyone around him. Wonder about. I've been wondering about that for a while now. Work against. Sometimes your own habits work against you without you realizing. Work around. We'll have to find a way to work around this problem. Work toward. Everything I'm doing right now is working toward a bigger goal. Worry over. There's no point worrying over things outside your control. Wrap up. Let's wrap up this conversation before it goes any further. Zero in on. She zeroed in on the one detail everyone else missed. Zoom in on. Let's zoom in on the real issue here. Back away from. I could see him backing away from his original position. Back down from. She refused to back down from what she believed. Back out of. He backed out of the agreement at the last minute. Bank on. Don't bank on things working out perfectly. Bargain for. This was more than I bargained for. Block out. I've been trying to block out everything and just focus. Blow up at. She completely blew up at me over something minor. Bogged down in. I keep getting bogged down in the small details. Branch out into. I'm thinking about branching out into something new. Break down from. He finally broke down from all the pressure he'd been carrying. Break free from. It took her years to break free from that situation. Break out of. Sometimes you just need to break out of your routine. Break through. She finally broke through the barrier she'd been stuck behind. Bring about. What exactly brought about this sudden change? Bring together. This experience really brought us together as a team. Burst into. She burst into tears the moment she heard the news. Buy into. I don't really buy into that way of thinking. Carry out. Make sure you carry out the plan exactly as discussed. Carry through. I admire people who carry through on what they say. Catch on to. It took me a while to catch on to what was happening. Cave into. I finally caved in to the pressure and agreed. Center around. The whole issue centers around a lack of communication. Chance upon. I chanced upon the perfect solution completely by accident. Check out of. I mentally checked out of that conversation a long time ago. Chip away at. Criticism can slowly chip away at your confidence. Clamp down on. They've been clamping down on that kind of behavior lately. Clash with. His personality clashes with mine in almost every way. Close off from. She's been closing herself off from everyone lately. Come to terms with. I'm still trying to come to terms with what happened. Come apart from. Things started to come apart from the very beginning. Come away from. I came away from that conversation feeling really unsettled. Come between. I won't let anything come between us. Come off as. I don't want to come off as someone who doesn't care. Come to grips with. It's hard to come to grips with something this unexpected. Commit to memory. Try to commit these patterns to memory naturally over time. Comply with. Everyone is expected to comply with the new guidelines. Cover up. Stop trying to cover up what really happened. Crack down on. It's time to crack down on behavior like that. Cross over into. The conversation crossed over into something much more personal. Cut back on. I've been trying to cut back on things that drain me. Cut in on. He kept cutting in on the conversation without any warning. Die down. I'm waiting for things to die down before I say anything. Dig out of. It took a long time to dig myself out of that situation. Distance from. I've been trying to distance myself from negativity. Dive into. I tend to dive into things without thinking them through. Double back on. He doubled back on everything he said the day before. Draw back from. She drew back from the situation when it got too intense. Draw out of. It's hard to draw any real answers out of her. Drift apart from. We slowly drifted apart from each other without even noticing. Drift away from. I feel like I've been drifting away from who I really am. Drive away from. His attitude drove everyone away from him eventually. Drop away from. A lot of people dropped away from the project halfway through. Ease into. You don't have to rush it, just ease into it gradually. Ease out of. She eased herself out of the situation without causing any conflict. Edge away from. I could feel myself edging away from that whole group. Edge toward. Things are slowly edging toward a resolution. Fall into. It's so easy to fall into a pattern without realizing it. Fall short of. The results fell short of what everyone had expected. Feed into. Negativity only feeds into more negativity. Fight back against. She decided to fight back against everything that had held her down. Filter out. Learn to filter out the noise and focus on what matters. Fit into. I never quite felt like I fit into that environment. Flag up. I want to flag up a concern before we go any further. Follow on from. This problem follows on from a series of earlier mistakes. Free from. I just want to feel free from all of this pressure. Fuel by. A lot of his drive is fueled by a deep fear of failure.